Timcast IRL will be live in Miami with Patrick Bet David, Donald Trump Jr., Matt Gaetz, and Luke Rudkowski. Join us there. Get your tickets by clicking the link in the description below or by going to timcast.com. I know that
Nancy Pelosi said she was a reptilian this week.
What?
She did.
Yeah, type it in. Oh my gosh, she said it this week. She said I'm cold-blooded and I'm reptilian.
Yeah, she that actually.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think she's a freaking reptile, but something is weird.
The point that he's making is that the Gnostic religion has been around since before, like, Christianity and before.
I can't Google it because it says it looks like the results below are changing quickly. Check the source. Is it a trusted topic?
Well, she said it on MSNBC. I forget whose show she was on. She just said it. If you type it on Twitter and Pelosi, because it's probably gonna give you a bunch of fake stuff. But she just said it this week. I type in Pelosi Twitter or Pelosi reptilian. But no, I do think it's demonic or satanic. I know that sounds weird, but there's something to it. And whether you believe in it or not, like Phil said,
here we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
Let's play it. Nancy Pelosi.
She's really, really committed to that. It's really sad.
No, I'm not a poor baby. I'm more reptilian, cold-blooded, and go in to win the election.
We're going to take a short break. I want to talk to you more.
What was it? Wait, hold on.
CIA agent. We got to take a break after that one.
Wait, calm down. What is she referring to? Let me play it.
This is how big of a bitch she is.
Okay, come on, hold on.
And go in to win the election.
What is she saying?
Go in and win the election?
No, I'm not a poor baby. I'm more reptilian, cold-blooded, and go in to win the election.
We're going to take a short break. I want to talk to you more about President Biden and some other things.
I missed
But what is? I guess it's impossible to know what with only 13 seconds. What is she referring to in the context of being reptilian and cold-blooded? She's saying she's like ruthless in law. Or something?
Like she's gonna go get it like a lizard, and probably she saw the memes of like her looking like a lizard meme and stuff.
I'm not as confident in that part.
Okay,
I don't think she saw the meme.
Did we ever figure out if her husband is a homosexual? Did we ever figure that out?
That's still undetermined, I think.
And it's cool if he is.
Yeah, it'd be
it's
very
totally
cool if he is.
Yeah.
I wish there was more context so I could understand why she's saying this. I'm assuming she's saying like I'm ruthless.
Yes, that was what I got out of it.
But like we don't know. Let me see if.
Yeah, these
Hold on. Let's play the beginning.
Have to go.
Of course she's going to say that, but
okay, let's try it again.
of course she's going to say that, but
Poor baby.
yeah, she's really, really committed to that. It's really sad.
No, I'm not a poor baby. I'm more reptilian.
I don't understand what she's trying to say, to be honest.
They're being facetious from the beginning.
No, I get that, but I don't understand. It's like, oh, she's a poor baby. No, I'm reptilian. I'm like, I don't know what that
Anderson's
turn of phrase
probably
is
saying
to be.
that other people were saying, oh, Nancy's a poor baby, and then Nancy's like, ha ha ha, no, I'm not. I'm a lizard that I'm going to go just take the election. That's my guess.
Okay.
But we need more context to understand.
No, we don't. She's a lizard, and it's pretty good programming. And
Fact check. Hold on. Nancy Pelosi admits she is a reptilian and that she's cold-blooded. Fact. Nancy Pelosi did say the quote, I am more reptilian and cold-blooded.
And she said it on a national show.
This is what the press does.
That's
what the press does. Yeah, so if she said it, it's true, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go. She's a lizard.
It's a revelation of the method, Tim.
It's either she's either a lizard or she's a liar.
Where does the reptilian thing come from? Like, why do people think?
No, this is actually a really good one. So David Icke was one of the guys that kind of founded this, and it goes back to like the Queen's bloodlines. They supposedly can trace back to Muhammad. I don't know if you know this, and Jesus supposedly. So it's like they think, and it kind of comes out of the Bible too. There's all this weird mix of like, there's a third of the angels casted out of heaven, and these were like the Nephilim, and then the angels slept with these giants, and then we're kind of the retarded offspring of it. So there's all this kind of like whimsical stuff where at some point angels mated with the animals here, and that there might be bloodlines like we have, and there might be bloodlines where these angels mated with the animals and they became human. So
you're saying that the lizard people are Nephilim?
Kind of like they're in that vibe. Whatever the Nephilim vibe, it's kind of comes from that time of the.
That's where a lot of it comes.
The
from.
early origins of existence. I mean, I'm not saying this is true, but that's what they say. And there's something weird though, how the Queen and Prince Philip, how they live for forever. I mean, obviously they have the best medical doctors, but there's something weird about bloodlines. I don't know about bloodlines. I don't know.
I mean, look, dude, I was just reading this list of the oldest people, and some like lady was 120 years old, and she was like a nobody in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I'm saying some people some people live a long time, but it's just weird that these billionaires live for a long time.
Well, it's not, I mean, you can say it's weird in that it's like not suspicious. It's weird that they do, but it's obvious what they're doing. Like, don't they do the what do they call it? Blood boys?
Blood boys.
Yeah, blood boys. There's like stem cell treatment stuff that people, I've heard stories of like these super rich people who, well, there's that one millionaire guy.
Anti-aging guy.
Yeah, he was like having his son's blood transfused into his body or whatever to be younger. And it's like,
Yeah, but you're not going to get much more longevity out of these things anyways. I mean, you might live a little longer because they have access to better things, but they're really not increasing their longevity significantly.
They don't want to die. And part of the transhumanist stuff is being able to put your mind in a machine so you can live forever.
They're
or whatever.
obsessed with living forever and longevity.
There's a part of the reptilian brain called the basal ganglia that the reptilian complex that humans also have a basal ganglia. So at some point in our evolution, we had only come that far. And I think what happened, there's this interesting theory from this book Ishmael that I got. Where
that book.
A long time ago. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a talking gorilla. Yeah, Alex Jones.
Yeah, we know all about it.
Where after something happened, but a huge segment of humanity went north. They migrated, Great Migration. A lot of people from the equatorial, maybe it was the Great Flood, something, but they went north. They could no longer grow crops.
I got to pause you right there. See, the issue is we used to believe in what was called out of Africa theory, but I think that's been debunked already.
What, Mesopotamia?
It's tough to
that
tell.
Everything came out of Mesopotamia?
Like life recovered in Mesopotamia, and I think they used to think that's where it began, but that's where it recovered after the flood. They went to like Turkey.
I think there was definitely a flood.
Oh, yeah. 12,800 years ago. There's tons of evidence.
Wiped out Atlantis.
Like Rockwall, there's a
the,
place right outside of Dallas. It's called Rockwall, and it's named because these guys were digging, 100 years ago, and they found these huge walls that were deep underground that make no sense. And if you can't dig
Really?
it, yeah,
What's it
because
called? Rockwall, Texas?
Type in Rockwall, Texas, and because they're so deep underground, like they think that it was maybe an old fort. So there is and then what is it? What is the Göbekli
Tepe?
Yeah, is what that doesn't even the timeline doesn't even make sense.
Yeah,
Göbekli
15,000 years.
Yeah, so
that's where they went. That's where they recovered to after the flood. They went to Göbekli Tepe, or they built it after the flood, but it looked like it was like an ancient temple that all these societies went and kind of congregated at. My theory is that these people that went north after this cataclysm couldn't grow crops, so they had to hunt constantly. All they did was hunt. They hunt, killed, so they developed a lizard-like behavior. And then their skin got lighter and lighter. And then eventually they came back south as these marauding, bloodthirsty conquistadors, murdering, colonizing Europe. They took over. They eventually became the Romans. And so this bloodthirsty behavior as opposed to eating crops. The bloodthirsty behavior is the lizard.
Oh, wow. Look at this picture. No joke. A huge wall was buried. And so there is quite literally a wall. Buried in Texas.
They can't even dig it up. It's so big.
Wow, that's really big. What is
Very
this?
big. And they have no idea
Wow.
what it's from. There's no evidence. They don't even know what the hell. So they just named the city Rockwall.
So again, look at this photo here. You can see they're excavating it, and it's wall, man. It's a big wall.
Oh, I mean,
It's mud flood, bro. You know about mud flood.
Oh,
right?
I mean, I'm just saying there's something weird. I mean, we probably
Mud
did have a
flood.
flood.
So wait. For those that aren't familiar, I'll probably be getting it wrong, but the general idea, which obviously I find silly, but there are people who believe that there was a massive ancient civilization. A flood happened, wiping everybody out, and mud and sediment and everything shifted around, burying large components of this ancient civilization. And now we've begun to discover some of it. There's the deeper conspiracy is that we've not built these buildings; we've discovered them. And that's why it is really weird. You'll see buildings in some cities where there's clearly a door halfway in the ground.
You've seen those?
Right. And I'm like, I don't know why they built that building that way. I don't think it means that a mud flood happened and buried the building. It's probably more likely that, like Chicago, they lifted the city up. Things like that happen.
Well, there is weird stuff too. If you look at all the old world's fairs, they used to be able to build these beautiful buildings with no power tools, with no modern technology, and then they would just destroy it, shortly thereafter, or it got burnt at a fire. So I think there's a Great Fire of Chicago, Great Fire of San Francisco. A lot of these classic cities, Tim, they had huge fires in around the 20s or 30s, so we don't even know their own history. So there's something weird. I'll just tell you this. I'm a full-blown conspiracy theorist. You don't need to be that, but I think our history is not the truth. It's his
wait,
story.
hold on. History is not true. That's end of story.
Yeah, end of story. That's
look at modern news today. We know how it's manipulated.
Exactly
And
right.
so we try our best to piece together as much of history as we can while knowing that it's written by the victors.
I don't believe any of the religions because of it. I can't believe any of those texts because it's all less credible than CNN.
What's interesting though is there's so many different religions that have very comparable stories. So many different
Like the
religions
flood.
have a story of the flood
Yeah.
or Noah and the ark. So I find that fascinating.
Virgin
so
births too.
What if when the flood happened, it was actually when was the Sphinx underwater or whatever? It was
Around the same period,
10,000 years ago, 12,000 years ago. Imagine what it was 12,000 BC. You're saying?
They said 12,800 years ago. It's that's where this whole Göbekli Tepe
Oh, right,
thing and
right,
all
right.
this water damage.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, there's
So,
a bunch of erosion damage on the
Right,
side of the
exactly.
Sphinx.
Right. So you have this ancient civilization with wonderful technology. The Earth starts flooding, and all the wealthy, powerful elites are like, we out, and they just leave Earth when they're gone, and all the poor, yokel, working class rednecks get left behind where most die, and those who survive start to rebuild, and here we are today.
But I think the real elites told people they were gods and like Nephilim, and they still had ancient tech. They had hot air balloons and like hang gliders and shit.
Right, but that's an entirely different conspiracy theory. I'm just saying there's a potential conspiracy theory, or I'm saying my conspiracy that I'm bringing up right now has nothing to do with any of that. I'm just saying there's an advanced civilization, the ultra rich. It wasn't Noah, some humble guy who was like, I'm gonna build an ark. It was a billionaire social media mogul who was like, I'm building a starship, and then he did, and then when the flood happened, they left. Everyone else gets wiped out. Those who survived the water world start to rebuild, and here we are.
Dude, they used to think the Sphinx was like 3,500 years old, or
Well,
40, and now they think it's like 15,000 years old.
Well,
all of a sudden
it
they'll just be like,
changes all the
by the
time.
way, we were off a little bit.
I think the
10,000
argument
years.
that they carved a different head into it is makes a lot of sense.
Yep, one of the pharaohs came
Yeah.
in to face the lion.
Yeah.
It used to be an actual cat.
Or a dog, Anubis or whatever, and then they cut the head down to really small to be the pharaoh instead. Yeah,
it was like
because the head doesn't fit the body size.
Oh, it's,
No,
so, it's
yeah,
all
it's-
receded.
yeah.
Man, it was a beautiful lion. I bet carved out of the mountain.
You know, I think the sad reality is that we want to believe these things because it gives us mystery and lore, and we can hope that there's something crazy that might happen, but it's just not. Come on.
We're incapable of living without myth.
I was thinking about going back to like the 800 BC when the Romans were just tribes, and like 600 BC. And if you could go back to that period and teleport around place to place, time to time, and explore, that's why I want to live, is to be able to do that. And I know that with like advanced technology, I think we're going to be able to simulate that kind of experience where you're actually there with the Romans.
See,
talking
the men
to them.
are always thinking about the Roman Empire.
I mean,
That's true, though.
Well, you might.
Wait, that was a meme, right?
Yeah, it's a trend. So
yeah.
ask a guy, how often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Every
and
day.
men are obsessed with the Roman Empire, rightfully
Every-
so, in my opinion. But
every day because I follow Stoic accounts.
Well,
So see them.
I wouldn't say every day, but a couple times a week at minimum.
see, that's insane. That's incredible to me.
Well, to Ian's
Well, because from the male perspective, women are basically just sitting around all giggling with each other about their hair, right?
Yeah.
And men are all talking about like, ooh, ancient Rome. You know, all roads lead to Rome. And
Look
it's
at
like
this sword.
equally silly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny.
way
you
the
s-
serration.
It's funny, Ian. You said something about advanced tech, but I think it's very easily provable. I mean, you guys might argue with me on this. I think we're getting dumber really fast because if you look at just like the stonework that they did in New York City not that long ago, like the gargoyles on the corners of buildings,
It's amazing.
we can't even recreate that today with all the technology we have.
We can't make gargoyles? What do you mean?
No, they can't recreate a lot of the classic gargoyles and classic like whatever stonework they've done on those
Oh, come
buildings.
on, dude.
I'm
They
dead.
can,
Google
they
it.
just don't want to.
Google it.
No, look,
Google it. I'm telling you, there's like the pyramids. We can't build the pyramids today. They don't know how
yes,
they build the
yes,
pyramids.
we can.
We
bro.
can't. Google if we can build the pyramids
How
today.
big is the
Tim,
Burj Dubai?
We cannot build the pyramids today. Fact. Google it. Google it. The way they build these pyramids, we cannot.
Bro,
they tried
I watched the video.
They tried
I
it.
watched the video where a middle-aged fat dude was moving multi-ton stones. He would dig
using
a hole
through sound or whatever.
No,
There's
he
one
would
video where they were doing it with
dig a
sound.
hole under a portion of it, and then he would start rocking it until it flipped itself over. And he was like, I can move it. And he started putting these things together. It was like ancient aliens or whatever. Bro,
I'm
we
just
can build a
telling you,
pyramid. Come
we
on.
cannot recreate.
Have you been to the
pyramid.
Luxor?
According to Wikipedia,
It's
yes, it is.
Have you been to
technically
Bass? Have you been to
How
Bass
is it
Pro
technically?
Shop?
What does the Wikipedia say? How is it
Wait,
technically
wait.
possible?
concrete.
They don't even understand how they
Wait.
built it now.
Yes, they
says-
do.
No,
it
because they don't know
says-
if they
it
use
says-
hempcrete. They don't know what they used to build them back then. So
Hold
how
up,
can
Serge.
we redo it?
Debunked. Debunked.
Oh yeah, that's what you're
Yeah,
gonna
I've
say.
seen this in real life too. So
Yeah, that's not debunked.
I've been
I think
inside
what you're
of it.
saying
Yeah,
is
it's
we
real.
can't
It's
do it in
real.
the same way.
We cannot do it in the same way. These guys are smarter than us.
Oh,
Even
dude.
they're Freemasons or whatever. They're not. We're not as talented as we are today.
Dude,
we used to be smarter.
That's a ridiculous prospect. I watched
That's
the video.
a true statement. I don't care.
I
We
watched
cannot
the video
recreate the pyramids.
where they used a stream of water to slice a screwdriver in half. I'm pretty sure we can easily cut stone and stack it up.
No,
The Burj Dubai.
can't.
Yes,
we can't.
yes,
we can't.
Just like we can't go
Fact check
to
me,
Antarctica.
chat. Fact check me. We can't
Listen.
recreate the pyramids.
Look, he's actually right. We can't do it the same way they did because we can't enslave that many people.
Yeah.
We don't really know how they did it.
Yeah, I don't
We
think
have no
anything-
idea how they
think that's-
did it, Tim. So how
But
can we
also,
recreate?
I don't
Yeah.
know how this means that we're dumber now. Like, didn't the Egyptians also think that the Earth is flat?
Yeah, they're
No,
probably
they didn't.
right.
They never did. That's not true.
Oh, did they not?
That is not true. It was Eratosthenes, I believe, who correctly calculated the circumference of the Earth by comparing different
Sticks and shadows, but that actually
Right.
works with the localized sun as well. But
Last night, Katie Faust was saying, or actually, we were just talking, it came up that a lot of our architectural genius is being placed into video games now. A lot of male architecture, mind space is being put into video games, and you're building these digital realities. So
and they're
building
doing it-
gargoyles
they're
are
taking-
being created.
Yeah, free labor, child labor on Roblox.
Oh, Roblox,
I'm telling you,
dude. What a dirty,
This is a
dirty.
problem.
what is this saying, Tim? A
My
typical.
show. Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.